Hey everyone, this is Paul Harding. Welcome back to what I believe is episode 10, our last and final vlog episode here as a part of our 10-part HP, AMD, Ingram Micro series. In the last episode, I did a very cool desktop unboxing, so please check back on our Ingram Micro page and check that out here on YouTube. But today we have a very fun wrap-up Ingram Micro presentation. I'm actually joined here today by Heather Kopp and Aaron Lehman with Ingram Micro's Flexible Payment Solutions team. We've talked a lot about HP and AMD from a technology standpoint. We've done unboxings. We've had a lot of fun, but really today is about focusing on the conversations we have around how consumers pay for technology solutions. So without further ado and without belaboring this intro, I'd like to introduce Heather Kopp. Heather, take it away.
Thanks for the introduction, Paul. And we really appreciate you bringing us into the conversation. I've been in the channel for about 24 years now in various roles for credit, and now the financial solutions executive role today. And we're really all about enabling our partners to be more successful in going after and winning more business, along with giving them the tools and resources to be able to give their clients what they need by delivering, those different payment solutions. So I'll go ahead and throw it over to you, Aaron, so you can provide some additional thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. Hello, everyone. Aaron Lehman, part of our Ingram Micro Flexible Payment Solutions team. For those of you not familiar with us, our whole mission in life is to help our reseller partners and our vendor partners offer products and services as a payment option to customers, right? No longer asking customers to pay cash for technology, but giving customers the ability to make payments over time for this solution. Happy to be here today.
Great. So Aaron, maybe you can share with us what you're hearing today in regards to different common trends from partners in that whole as a service revolution that we're all hearing about.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. I think the most common trend that I'm seeing lately is that customers no longer want to own technology. Customers want to make payments for technology on an ongoing basis as they consume it. I mean, think about our daily lives, for example, Heather. We pay monthly for Netflix and Spotify, Dollar Shave Club, all of the other thousands of organizations that I could rattle off that are selling their services as a service or as a subscription model, right? I think a great example would be the way that we pay for our cell phones, right? It's pretty rare that somebody would prepay 3 years worth of Netflix, and it's also rare that somebody would pay cash for a cell phone. I know for me personally, I make a monthly payment every single month, and I know at the end of 24 or 30 months, I can walk back into the store and I'm excited, right? Because I'm eligible for an upgrade. I get a new iPhone that's more powerful and more robust than the one I'm using today. And it really is a win-win for everybody involved. So I would say, to answer your question, Heather, the common trend that we're seeing is solution providers who build in that technology budget with their customers. They sell as a service, they sell as a payment, they create that technology budget for their customers. They capture the refresh at the end of term, and again, it's a win-win for everybody involved. What about you, Heather? You mentioned you're talking to partners all day, every day for the past 20 plus years. When you think about that consumption evolution that I mentioned, what's important to our partners, do you think?
I think one of the top responses we hear from our resellers that lead with those flexible ways to pay is that they get to protect or actually increase their margins. We consistently hear that resellers that can realize a 5 to 8% increase in margins just by bundling their products and services together. When they stop leading with that line item cash purchasing, they see those margins improve and increase. And not only that, but when they shift the financing over to us, their cash flow improves because they're getting paid up front for both that hardware and software and their margin, in addition to not having to leverage their own balance sheet in these types of transactions. So expediting their cash flow, recognizing the margin earlier, and then, that ultimately helps empower their business. Maybe give a real life example behind this. We had a partner who was facing those challenges. He was, doing the whole as a service on his own. It was, starting to impact his cash flow and balance sheet because he was holding the burden and that liability on his balance sheet and elongating that sales cycle. He started the journey with us. We had a great initial discovery conversation about his company. We're going to listen to understand exactly what the needs that he had, and showed him the value of us stepping in. We gave him a seamless quoting integration within his CRM tool. We provide training of his sales staff to help go to market. And he's been doing it about 24 months now, and he's seen a consistent 20% year over year growth and continuing to have a best-in-class client retention rate. So, maybe, this all sounds great, right, Aaron? But what guidance can you maybe give our partners when it comes to financing a transaction? And, how have you seen resellers kind of position this with their customers to get the conversation started?
Yeah, we do a lot of sales training and coaching for sales teams, and we have the opportunity to kind of share our story and our talk tracks with these sellers, Heather. And one thing that I've noticed, a lot of times at the beginning, sales teams or sales reps in general thinks that financing is a difficult conversation to have, but I've learned that the opposite is true. In fact, one piece of advice that I always give to sales teams that I talk to is to understand early on in the conversation how the customer plans to pay for the technology investment, right? A simple question that can be asked is, are you looking for flexible ways to pay for this solution over time? Or would you be interested in a payment plan where the initial technology investment doesn't need to be paid for today, right? By phrasing it as simply as I did, you can get an understanding of if a payment strategy is important to that customer, and it can help guide the conversation. I think from there, it's important for the buyer and the seller to agree on the useful life of that technology being consumed, right? For laptops, that's probably 2 to 3 years. Infrastructure, that's maybe more like 5 years. But by doing so, you get an understanding of what that finance term should look like. And it's a pretty easy conversation to have from there. I would also say it's important early on in the conversation to understand what is the final destination with that technology. Does the customer want to own the equipment outright? I'd argue from my cell phone example earlier, probably not, right? Or is the destination that continuous technology refresh, which, as we know, benefits both the buyer and the seller in the long run? So I'd summarize all that by saying it's an easy conversation to have. We're supportive, and we're able to join and be a part of those conversations, but super easy talk tracks when talking about payment options with customers. What about you, Heather? What have you seen that's worked well?
Like you said, when we see partners that, allow us to come in and be involved in that sales journey, they've been definitely successful in delivering it as a part of the buying journey for their clients, through that sales coaching, the quoting integrations, marketing materials, go-to-market strategies, all that can be centered around driving success for our partners.
Yeah, and you nailed it. We want to be a part of that sales journey, right? In fact, I would encourage all of our viewers today, schedule time with us. Reach out. We have conversations individually with partners all day, every day to build out these creative and attractive as a service or payment options for your customers. You can reach us at sales@Ingram Micro FPS, as in flexible payment solutions. So sales@IngramMicroFPS.com. We'd love to be introduced to you and your team. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you again, Aaron and Heather. That was awesome. And thank you all again for being a part of not just today's episode, but a part of the entire series. If you haven't seen previous episodes, feel free to take a look back. This is episode 10 of 10, but we've got 9 other great episodes, including unboxings and some other great HP, Ingram Micro, AMD messaging. If you like this content, please click the like and subscribe button below. And thank you all, and have a great week.